is it important to understand religious tradition and sexual violence and find a better way? I'm here with Samara Qureshi from heartwomenandgirls.org, and I'm Kathy Vartuli from theintimacydojo.com. And Samara, you'll be talking at the Woodhull Sexual Freedom Summit in almost a month on religious tradition and sexual violence, moving from a framework of oppression to one of empowerment. And could you tell us why that topic is important to you and why you decided to share that there?
Sure. I'm sure it seems like a very unique title for a workshop presentation.
Well, it's very intriguing. I'm like, tell me more.
So, we've been around for about 8 years, and we have 3 staff, and during our own journeys of doing this work with Muslim women and with Muslim communities, we found that faith, sexual health, and health can't be separated out. And that's the same for a lot of, I think, faith traditions, whether you're Catholic, Buddhist, Jewish, or Muslim, or any other faith. When you practice from a religious-based perspective, health and sexual health is intertwined with that. Mm-hmm. And then, as we've noticed with political climates and the media, especially around Muslim and those who are being othered, yes. There's a great deal of misunderstanding, oppression, and biases that a lot of non-Muslim folks have towards Muslims. So it puts a lot of extra strain on already minority communities who are trying to access sexual health and sexual violence services.
And it's so hard to begin with. It's like there's so much shame, and then add that on top. It seems impossible.
Right. And so we've noticed doing the work that if professionals are coming from a religiously and culturally informed perspective, they're met much more easier from the Muslim community with regards to building trust and really understanding the intersections that come into play with sexual violence, including religion, which is one of them, and hate crimes, for example, and Islamophobia. There's a lot of intersections that come with seeking sexual health information and resources.
Could you give us an example of a religious tradition from the Muslims that you would be important to incorporate as you're educating?
Yeah, I think the biggest one, Kathy, is to see Islam as being sex positive. Yeah. And I would say a lot of folks who don't understand Islam would say the opposite, that it's sexually oppressive.
Right.
Especially with regards to women, girls, and expressing sexuality. There's a lot of misunderstanding about modesty, sexual purity, and understanding the faith. But as you dig deeper into Islam and look at the Holy Book and the teachings, it's incredibly sex positive. Mm-hmm. So during a lot of workshops, we'll bring up texts and verses from the Quran that really explain what it means to be a sexual being from a religious perspective. So that's the part where I think practitioners find really fascinating, is that when you listen to Muslims talk about sexuality and religion, then you'll get the real picture.
Yeah, I love that you're doing this work. Why did you decide on Woodhull as a place to present this?
Yeah, so we are constantly looking for innovative forums to share our work. Mm-hmm. And given that Woodhull's mission is sexual freedom, and the current landscape of the intersections of Islam and politics and gender violence, we thought, wow, like what a way to put a spin on the work we do by talking about it from a sexual freedom perspective, rather than having to always be defensive in our narrative, right? Always having to try and change people's mind by having to shut down Islamophobia, which we will in this presentation, but we're completely taking it from a sex positive framework, which we find more empowering as well, and more positive, given that, a lot of sex ed, like you said, when it's done, it's so shameful, it's very fear-mongering, it's not empowered abstinence-based, for example, it's shame-filled and fear-based. So we're excited for this forum because it lends to that positive tone, and I think we're excited to learn from the forum as well. So we love connecting with other folks in the field and kind of learning from them and making sure that our sex ed is very up-to-date and evidence-based as well.
Yeah, it's a great, I go back, I've been going through, this is my 8th year, because it's a great place to recharge and network and find out the latest, because we're evolving, our understanding is growing more nuanced and more powerful, and just immersing yourself for a couple days and people that are really diving into this work, I always leave recharged and ready to go out there and do stuff.
And that's exciting. And I think as practitioners, we all need that space to be in a bubble for a couple of days, soak it in, and then, okay, now let's get back to the real world and take what I learned and implement it, hopefully.
Yeah. I'm so touched by what you're doing, and it's so beautiful. Is there anything you'd like to leave people with, thought, or, to wrap up the interview, like, for people that wanted to know more, is there a place they can go, or?
Yeah, so we do have a pretty active social media presence. So heartwomenandgirls.org is our website. We've recently started doing more sex ed virtually using Instagram and Facebook. So you can find us there. Instagram, we're Heart to Grow. So we believe the heart is actually an acronym. A lot of people think cardiac health, but it's health education, advocacy, research, and training.
Oh, nice.
So those are the 4 arms of our work. So we encourage people to reach out, and we're really excited to connect with folks at the summit. And we always get folks wanting us to come out and do more trainings, which is really exciting. Yeah. So we're looking forward to that.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for what you're doing. I'm excited. I love that you're out there making this difference for people.
Well, I appreciate you, and also the platform you're offering. I think having allies is really important in this work, as you know. It can feel isolating sometimes, but knowing that there are other folks out there doing the work is really helpful.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I can't wait to see you at Woodhull very soon.
Thank you, us as well. We'll see you in just over a month.
It's coming up fast.
Yeah, it's coming up fast.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.